Today on DNVR Buffs Live, where do the Buffs quarterbacks rank amongst the rest of the conference? It's Tiersday. It's time to tier off all of the Big 12 quarterbacks and upset everyone in the conference. Let's do it.
Send it to you. Buff Nation!
Let's go.
Squad.
Coming to you live from Studio B for Buffs.
So
DNVR
creative.
Buffs Live.
B for bussin'.
B for bussin'. I said that last time.
It was fire. I don't know. That should just be your
I
go-to.
was.
now. Yeah, that should just be
He's
your
saying
go-to.
that he didn't like Buffs, though.
Well,
Just bring
I-
it back to classic, you know?
I was just trying to see if you had anything else in the bag.
Studio B for Big 12. We're ranking quarterbacks.
There you go. See, you're using that noggin.
Thank you. I've been known to do that every now and then. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tiersday, everyone,
good tier.
actually.
Happy Tiersday. Hey, before we get into the Tiersday, well, you might be working on something. I got to give a shout out to Positive Message Clothing.
Yes.
They continue to look out. My guy continues to look out. He already sent us a care package, previously. He sent us another one. Sent me another one here this weekend with the beautiful note. He said he was watching the show a couple weeks ago when we had Uncle Neely on, and he heard me mention or tell Uncle Neely how appreciative I am of him for giving me the nickname Scotty Deep Pockets, because it's low key like caught on a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And
sure.
I had to let Uncle know that I'm appreciative of him. And shout out to our guy over at Positive Message Clothing. He said when he saw that, he had to make me a Scotty Deep Pockets. Scotty
Unreal.
Deep Pockets.
Hold it up a little
t-shirt.
higher. With the puff print.
Come on now, look at this beauty. Are you serious?
That's fire.
The SDP on the back. Stop playing with us. Shout out Positive Message Clothing, my boy. Appreciate you, man. Y'all go cop y'all some Positive Message Clothing, and make sure y'all keep it positive with the messaging.
I would wear a Scotty Deep Pockets.
Honestly, where's mine?
Also, we would also like our own custom shirt.
Straight up.
Hey, get y'all a cool nickname from Uncle Neely, and y'all might be able to get y'all one. But
Uncle Neely usually
out.
calls me Arcasey.
Arcasey?
Just has to throw a little, some flair on the end of it.
He calls me Jakey Poo.
Yeah.
Put Jakey
That
Poo
doesn't
on
really
his shirt.
hit on a shirt.
Yeah, I can't have that on a shirt. Can't have that on a shirt. Today on the show, Tuesday, ranking the Big 12's quarterbacks, and then some transfer portal stuff. Stanford has fired Troy Taylor. We'll get into that. Maybe look at
At the same time I learned that Stanford fired Troy Taylor, I learned that Andrew Luck now works for Stanford.
GM.
Yeah.
Made the call. So we'll look at the roster and see if there's anyone worth keeping an eye out for.
We're going to talk about that later.
Yes. Okay. Are you ready, Alyssa?
Ready as I'm gonna be.
This is funny because Tiersday usually brings out the worst in the comment section. Not as bad as the
Starters?
lineup projections.
Yes.
Yes. But we can't even see the comments today. So
Exactly.
you guys have to hate on us in silence.
All right. Just starting in order. Sam Leavitt, Arizona State. That's the first one, right? Alyssa?
I don't know. Sorry, I'm doing too many things.
All right. Sam Leavitt.
Why don't we talk about Stanford first? Give
Okay.
us a little bit of time here. Troy Taylor, our one miss
Yeah.
in our is actually tier ranking
Yeah. Facts.
of Colorado candidates during the Coach Prime era. We had Kenny Dillingham. That was a hit. We, of course, had Coach Prime. He was our number one candidate. We had
Sataki?
Kalani Sataki. That was a great call by us. We had Kurt Signetti.
That is right. Yeah.
God, we're good. But we did have Troy Taylor. That was our one miss. Troy Taylor actually was like the reason why I put him on the list is he was like he was a career program saver.
Yeah. Sacramento State. They were a monster program.
Yep, and he did it at one other place before there. So didn't work out. I got to admit, when we talked to him at Pac-12 Media Day 2 years ago, my confidence in him went plummeting.
I mean, he got fired for like bullying and stuff like that.
Really?
Yes, you didn't see this?
No. Oh,
Fired from
yeah.
his current job from Stanford?
Yes.
It's funny because I was about to say after I talked to him, I thought he was soft.
Bro, it's March 25th. Why else would you fire a coach?
I just thought Andrew Luck came in there and was like, this guy sucks.
Yeah, because that happened like a month or two ago, right? Where they announced Andrew Luck as the new GM.
Yeah.
Which I think is dope. Like, I think he's going to be able to help turn around that program. And this might be the catalyst, getting the right head coach to lead the program. But
Stanford... Go ahead.
no, I was going to say, go ahead. I want to hear about
Stanford fired Coach Troy Taylor on Tuesday, less than a week after an ESPN report revealed that Taylor had twice been the subject of third-party investigations into complaints from the athletic department employees over hostile behavior.
Wow.
Andrew Luck, now the program's GM, became Taylor's direct supervisor upon taking the job last November and made the decision today to terminate Taylor after just 2 seasons. Quote from Luck, "It has been clear that certain aspects of the program need change. Additionally, in recent days, there has been significant attention to Stanford investigations in previous years related to Coach Taylor. After continued consideration, it is evident to me that our program needs a reset. In consultation with university leadership, I no longer believe that Coach Taylor is the right coach to lead our football program." This is the first college football GM to fire a head coach.
Wow.
Interesting.
He's been on the job like less than 2 months, probably.
It said November, I think.
Oh, November? Okay.
Yeah.
Is this the way of the future where like the GM is making these moves rather than the AD?
I think that's why he's been like brought in that, like Oklahoma did this with Jim Nagy recently. But
Right.
like Colorado has a GM, it's David Kelly. Like,
Yeah.
it's not like David Kelly's calling the shots over Coach Prime. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, no one's ever going to call the shots over Coach Prime, but I'm just curious if like that's the way, that's the NFL way, of course. Like the GM fires the coach, GM hires the coach. In college sports, it's always been the athletic director. The question is like, if you have the money for it, do you hire an athletic director to oversee all the other sports and then have a GM who focuses just on football?
Yep.
Girls Club makes a interesting point. She goes, "Oh my, and why isn't On3 running this story into the ground?" It's a hell of a point. Can you
Also-
imagine if this came out of Colorado?
And we didn't even hear, like you and I didn't even know what it was about.
And we are pretty deep into the sports
Yes,
thing, and we
yes.
had not heard of this at all. It's
The
crazy.
March 19th ESPN report said that Stanford commissioned investigations in 2023 and 2024 after multiple employees filed official complaints regarding Taylor's behavior. Several complaints alleged Taylor showed, quote, aggressive and hostile behavior towards colleagues, most of whom were women. Would not happen at Colorado, ever.
Would never happen at Colorado, but in the alternate universe where anything of this nature happened at Colorado, it would be leading Sports Center.
Oh man,
100%. They'd be screaming for the death penalty.
Yes.
This was Colorado.
the double standard is forever existing. That's crazy though.
That is a great point, by the way, by Girls Club.
No doubt.
The
For
fact
sure.
that this happened, you and I didn't even, I just saw that he was fired.
Yeah. I was like, oh, I guess they wanted to go in a different direction. That was literally my thought. I'm like, Andrew
my
Luck
first thought was
posting.
weird timing. And then I saw the Andrew
Yeah.
Luck thing. I'm like, maybe they just hired Andrew Luck and he just came in and was like, I need to hire my own coach here.
It's wild.
David Shaw back to Stanford?
No, he just took a job somewhere.
Oh, okay.
He left the Broncos for something.
You're right. But I don't think it's a head.
Passing game coordinator for the Detroit Lions. He basically kind of took half of Ben Johnson's job.
David
That's a good
Shaw
gig.
back to Stanford?
I mean, they got to
that's a
hire a
good gig.
coach. We'll see.
It'd be interesting.
I loved David Shaw when he was there.
Same. The portal's open for Stanford.
Joe Liz.
They actually had a really good recruiting class last year. 31st overall pure recruiting class for freshmen. So some guys to keep an eye out. They're top-ranked recruits. Elijah Brown, he's a quarterback from Mater Dei. Only threw 48 passes last year. Only completed 58% of them, but he was a 4-star top 200 player. Cole Tabb is a running back from Florida. 5'7.5", 190 pounds. He had 27 carries for 130 yards, averaged 4.8 yards per carry last year as a true freshman.
Bowling ball status.
Yep.
Swear.
5'7", 200.
Ashton Hall.
Benedict Ume is
From Saratoga, Florida.
No, Fort Walton Beach. Benedict Ume was a 4-star defensive lineman from Connecticut, 6'5", 260. He did not record any stats last year. In terms of their best play, Alec Ayumanor, do you still see him in your nightmares, by the way?
No idea who you're talking about. I feel from that.
He's
thing.
headed to the NFL draft, but Emmett Mosley V was a true freshman last year and was their second leading receiver, 48 receptions, 525 yards, and 6 touchdowns.
He's nice.
Yeah? You
Yeah, that
familiar?
receiver.
I mean, at Stanford, it's a lot of older guys. They did have this influx of young talent this last year from this previous recruiting class, but is that the tight end?
Yeah.
I think he was a senior, though.
Listed as a junior, at least on ESPN. I don't know. how
This one,
valid that is.
CFB ref had him as
Status
listed as a
is
senior last year.
Yeah.
Well, then Sam Roush, tight end, last year.
240 had 40 catches last year from the tight end spot, over 300 yards. He's from Nashville, Tennessee, and that kind of piques my interest, obviously, because Coach Box has a connection to the Memphis, Tennessee, or the Nashville, Tennessee area.
That's where Corbin Lazier's from, actually,
exactly.
I think, too.
Yeah, Chauncey Gooden as well. So
This dude,
that's
I've never
interesting.
seen someone look more like they went to Stanford.
And Stanford's had like a tight end pipeline, too.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, starting with Zach Ertz, but Colby Parkinson, I think, is in the NFL.
Austin Hooper.
Hooper. There was another one. It was after Ertz. Colby Fleener. He was a first-round pick.
remember him. He was a first rounder? That's crazy.
Benjamin Jurosic, he was on the team the last few years. He transferred to Georgia last year. He didn't really do much. I think he's actually in the draft, but
Oh, you're getting deep now.
Baltimore.
I told you they
For
had
real.
a pipeline, bro. But yeah, that's just a look at some players. We'll see what. Crazy though, right?
Very crazy. Crazy timing.
I mean, it got to probably be literally in the middle of spring ball, right?
Honestly, yeah.
I've seen it. I mean, this is going to be a hard hire for them, and it kind of makes me think that they already have a plan, like David Shaw.
Andrew Luck strikes me as the type of guy who does things with a plan.
Yes.
You know?
He's not just flying by the seat of his pants like, oh,
like-
we need a football coach now.
Do you remember what month the Mel Tucker Darrell stuff all happened? Because that was like too late.
February, wasn't it?
And it was like, this is just too late in the process. Like, CU's screwed. I don't think it was actually that late. Maybe it was.
So Carl Durrell was hired on
was gonna say-
February 23rd.
Oh, God. Yeah, so it probably happened in like late January, and then that search took a while.
Tucker resigned on February 11th. Durrell was hired on the 23rd. So
Okay, it was only 2 weeks.
week and a half, 2 weeks-ish, yeah.
I remember exactly where I was.
Where were you?
Coors Event Center. There's Buffs basketball
Basketball
game
game.
on. Yeah.
Was there like almost like when Andrew Luck
gas.
retired in the preseason? Like, could you tell the arena was like, oh my God, like talking about it?
And like everyone's instant reaction was negative. Now, you know me, not me. I was like, this guy went to like 4 bowl games at UCLA or something like that. Yeah, times. This is going to be interesting. I bet you they move quickly though.
For sure. Let's take our first break. Are we ready? Yeah. All right. Shout out to our friends over at Lucy Nicotine. Baseball season's coming up. You just got to be ready, man.
Yeah, it's true.
You got to be ready. We're going to have, what are Rooftop Fridays? What's the exact name?
Yeah, I meant
Fridays.
to have you guys fill me in on that.
Yeah, basically we're just going to be, DNVR is going to be headed out to Coors Field on Fridays to watch the Rockies. So make sure you're ready to party with us. Bring
6
your
dates.
Lucy's.
6 dates throughout the summer, starting with
Thank you.
opening day on Friday, April 4th, and day of the pro day. But with that day will be the first Rooftop Friday. Come hang out with the DNVR
That's gonna be
field.
sick. Friday
Yeah.
night field hits.
It does.
I can't wait for my first one.
It's even better with some Lucy's. Let's level up your nicotine routine with Lucy. Go to lucy.co/DNVR and use the promo code DNVR to get 20% off your first order. Lucy also has a 30-day refund policy if you change your mind. I'm a fan of the mango and the apple ice. You're a mint and espresso guy.
Mm-hmm. So you
They
can mix
also-
them actually.
You, at the same time?
Yeah.
That's crazy. They also have like a sampler pack so you can try other flavors as well. Lucy products are only for adults of legal age, and every order is age verified. Warning: this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
I just call it a mint latte.
That's hilarious.
That's foul, bro.
No, it's not, bro.
And shout out to the squad over at Bet365, man. Bet365 is the spot that you need to be at if you're trying to make some bread on all the sports going on right now, whether it's the NBA, whether it's the NHL, whether it's March Madness, the NCAA tournament, tipping off again tomorrow. Bet365 is the place to do it. Really, also because of Bet365's early payout offer. For both the NBA and college basketball, you're a winner if your team goes up by 20 points with an instant payout on straight bets and parlay selections marked as winners. Download the app and use the code DNVR365 when you sign up. New customers now get $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5. Win or lose. Sign up, use the code DNVR365. Deposit $10 and place a bet for $5 to get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, player props, futures, and a lot more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. You must be 21 plus and physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply.
Bro, have you been playing like Bloody Knuckles?
Bro.
No, okay. So what happened?
Did you ever play that when you were a kid, by the way?
No,
Where you
I
take
never
the
did.
quarter and you fling it, you got to keep your
No, that
knuckles on
shit
the
hurt
table?
too much.
Oh, no, that wasn't how we played Bloody Knuckles.
How'd you play?
We played Bloody Knuckles like you would put your fist up against somebody and you'd punch their fist. And the first person to tap out.
So we would just be going like this?
You would literally just be punch somebody's
Oh
fist
my
as hard as
God.
you can.
That's
That's
So
how
we
thought
would do,
Bloody
you got to
Knuckles.
put your knuckles down on the table like this, and then the person gets a quarter and they get to fling it.
Damn, I never heard that
And I
before.
think it was like if you lost a point in ping pong, then you had to like do Bloody Knuckles.
No, I was just
I
opening a
still have
window.
scars.
you
were
were
just-
have scars.
Opening a window?
Yeah, it was the first time I was opening a window during the spring, so that thing was
Damned. And then what happened?
I mean, it's got like these two things, so you got to like I was under it like this to like lift up the little prongs, and it just like
Oh, it slipped up and your finger
Yes.
just scrapes across.
Yes.
Oh, that's tough.
Sheesh.
that's why it's like weirdly in the same spot on both fingers.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know.
You should like dress those wounds.
Yeah, bro, just go with
No,
the
I'm
double
letting him
band-aid
breathe, bro.
on the middle finger. That'd be such a look.
I mean, this happened like 36 hours ago or something.
Okay.
Like,
I remember you saying it yesterday.
yeah. All right.
I haven't played both ways of Bloody Knuckles, he says.
We had a similar game that we called tennis, which is you just lock arms and then you just get to smack the shit out of their hand. And it's just until someone gives up.
Sounds similar for sure.
All right. Ranking Big 12 quarterbacks.
Ooh.
ASU's first up. Sam Leavitt. Coming off a Big 12 championship. Size says it all. Coming off a Big 12 championship. Last year, in his first season as a full-time starter at ASU, 61% completion, 2,885 yards, 24 touchdowns to 6 interceptions. Had 443 rushing yards, averaging 4 yards per carry with 5 rushing touchdowns.
I think aside from Shador, just looking at the numbers, he probably had the best touchdown interception ratio. I think 24-6
In the conference
in the
last
conference, of course, right in the Big 12.
Sawyer
so that's
Robinson had a
impressive.
good year too.
Yeah, he was 28-8.
Okay.
I think 24-6 is a little better ratio, if I'm not mistaken.
It is.
But yeah, I mean, Leavitt. To me, the biggest thing I think we kind of mostly agree on Leavitt, and all three of us might agree on Leavitt.
No.
Last year's success
Oh,
of Arizona
okay.
State,
Like where you're going?
them getting to the Big 12 championship game and obviously winning. That to me had a lot to do with Cam Scatterbull. And it
Yes.
remains to be seen, at least from my perspective, how Sam Leavitt might be able to carry this offense, which he might be asked to do at certain points throughout Big 12 without the help of a Cam Scatterbull, who was one of the best running backs in college football last year. So Sam Leavitt, he returns his top receiver, Jordan Tyson, right, who is a dog. He's coming off an injury, but we expect him to be back 100%. This guy can play. Like I said, 24-6 touchdown interception ratio. Was in the playoffs last year, 61% completion percentage isn't great. But, to me, I got him in B tier. That's
Oh.
where I got him. I got him in B tier.
Okay,
Because it goes SAB, right?
So I've got SAB, CF, and then NA.
Okay.
Just for because there's a
Sheesh,
few
if
guys.
You got him in B tier. I don't know.
I got him in B tier.
Okay.
I would have put him in A tier.
I for sure thought I would be the lowest on him.
Where would you put him?
I was kind of leaning towards A. The stats, though, I didn't know the stats were so bad. Other than the touchdown to interception
They're
ratio,
fine.
that
Yeah. Threw for 2,800 yards, 61%. That's
Had
probably
five
what you don't
more-
like, right? 61%
He
completion.
had 5 more rushing touchdowns as well.
so that's the thing is he has it all in terms of what you would want in a quarterback.
Mhm.
He's quick. He has a big arm. He showed the ability to hit the deep ball this last year.
Yeah.
He kind of has some moxie to him, if you will.
Mhm.
I feel like a lot of people are putting him in the S tier.
They have him as a Heisman contender.
Exactly.
That's ridiculous.
And bless you. I just
God bless you.
I think I've made this comp before. It's Ryan Tannehill with Derrick Henry. Like when your job is to just hand it off to Derrick Henry and then they stack the box and then you get favorable matchups all over the rest of the field, it makes your job so easy. And that actually makes the 60% completion feel even worse to me. But, they took a lot of deep shots. That was kind of like it was beat you up in the middle and then throw it deep over the top to Jordan Tyson. So I want to give him some credit for making plays in the college football playoff and the Big 12 championship game. I'm in A.
A tier?
I get overruled.
Yep.
Yeah, you're going to get tie broken,
All right.
bro.
All right.
Rocco Becht.
I thought you were both going to put him S and I was going to have him A.
Oh,
I was going to get
no.
overruled.
no.
Rocco Becht, last year at Iowa State, 59% completion, third in the Big 12 with 3,505 passing yards, 25 touchdowns to 9 interceptions, though. And then I'll get his running stats. He does run around a little bit.
Can I just quickly say, people think that Rocco Becht is good, and I'm not saying he isn't. Shador Sanders completed 20% more of his passes.
That's crazy.
Doesn't make sense,
That's
bro.
insane.
I am telling you, I tried so many times to be like, don't take this for granted. And like, at some point, Colorado's going to have a quarterback who people say is good, who's completing 60% of their passes. And we're going to be like, remember when Shador completed 2 more out of every 10?
While throwing it the most of anybody in the conference?
Yeah.
He had 318 rushing yards, but 8 touchdowns.
Wow.
So that is a total of 33 touchdowns last year for him.
To 9 picks.
He had 2 NFL receivers also, by the way. Jaden Higgins and Jaden Noel are going to get drafted.
They're both gone.
Both gone.
Yes.
And that,
I guess that's one thing you could say as a positive for Levitt, though. I mean, outside of Tyson, there wasn't
I mean,
right.
I was
anything special.
just looking this up, actually, not to spend too much time on Levitt, but last year at Arizona State, Jordan Tyson was their leading receiver, right? He had 75 receptions.
I've got their second.
Scattaboo with 45. Next was Shema Mateer. He had 32. And then it's your next wide receiver, Melquan Stovall, who had 24.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what they did at that position because it's definitely a need for them.
This conversation is making me very bullish on Cam Scattaboo in the NFL. I'm not going to lie.
You guys are late.
Not that this is what we
guys are
need to
late.
talk about, right? But
You're
you're
all
right.
late.
Not that this is what we need to talk about right now, but
I've been trying to tell everyone, bro.
back to Rocco Becht. I have him also in B tier. I had him alongside Sam Levitt. The biggest reason I have him in B tier, I really like Rocco Becht last year. I think he's a good quarterback. He's a good player. He can make plays with his arm and his legs. 8 touchdowns is impressive on the ground. But the loss of those 2 receivers who are dogs, like
Yeah.
Noel and Higgins, are going to be really good NFL players. And to lose both of them, and I think they're losing their top running back as well. I like what the coach Campbell has done there at Iowa State, but I think Rocco Becht is comfortably in my B tier.
I agree.
I agree as well. That was easy.
All right.
Real quick, those guys were so good. What was the game? Do you remember who they were playing the night that Kansas State lost to Houston? We needed both of them to lose to get first place, if I remember correctly.
So that was what, the last weekend of the regular season?
No, it was like week 7 or 8.
Was it Tech game?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Tech beat them. Yeah,
Yep.
that was a good game.
Yeah.
I
it
just
was.
remember watching that and being like, geez, these guys are open every play.
Yeah.
And Tech secondary.
Damn, he ran for 97 yards and 2 touchdowns against UCF.
Dang.
Wouldn't expect that from a guy like him.
All right,
The
we got to
third
go
of his
quicker.
rushing yards that year.
We got to go quicker. We
'Kay.
got 15 more guys to get through.
15.
Utah's starting quarterback, Devin Dampier. This
I want to hear
guy
Scotty go first on this.
last year at New Mexico, not a great passer. Only completed 58% of his passes, 12 touchdowns to 12 interceptions, 2,768 passing yards, but rushed for 1,166 rushing yards on 7.5 yards per carry with 19 touchdowns.
Jeez.
It's 31 total touchdowns. That's ridiculous.
At a program that
Is dead.
has been dead for a long time.
And obviously coming with this step in competition at Utah, he brings over his offensive coordinator in New Mexico,
Yep.
which I like a lot.
I didn't know that.
I only have 3 guys in my S tier, and Devin Dampier is one of them.
I agree.
Each of those guys that I have in my S tier, to me, are guys who can be the engine of an entire offense. You know, they're dual threat guys who obviously can make you pay with their arm, and they can be explosive. Like not just, you know, make plays with their legs, but be explosive in the run game. And that's what Dampier has and can be. And I think Kyle Whittingham still in his old age is one of the best coaches in college football. I think Devin Dampier is in for a huge, huge season. And he's one of my 3 guys in the S tier.
This is the type of quarterback Kyle Whittingham has won titles with the last few years, or 10, 15 years. Tyler Huntley was like this.
Bro.
Cam Rising had some of this. This is probably the best runner he's had.
For sure. What was his passing completion percentage?
58.
58, 57.9, 12 and 12, touchdown to interception.
So, do you not have any concern? Because I know what your rankings are, with increase in level of competition.
No, I really don't. I mean, obviously, that's going to be something that's going to be a talking point, you know, for everybody who makes that jump. Kaidon Salter is, people are going to have those questions about him as well. But I think at the quarterback position in particular, there are certain traits and certain things that you see throughout a game at that position in particular, where you're like, that's going to translate no matter who you're playing against or no matter who's on the other side of the ball.
I mean, I couldn't agree more. That's what I said about Shador.
Yeah, right, for sure. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. And again, I think he's going to be insulated. They're going to have the trenches. Utah going to have the trenches. You know what I'm saying? And I think they're going to have weapons. And again, I like that their offensive coordinator, who Dampier has familiarity with, is with him in Utah. And, you know, just to take a curtain back, like I covered Dampier a little bit when he was in high school at my previous spot. Like he won a state championship at Arizona after transferring from one powerhouse to another. Like he's like that. Like he's been like that. And I just think this is going to be the beginning of him kind of exploding on the national scene in college football.
So I actually agree that there are sometimes you can watch and say that's going to translate no matter who you're playing. One thing that I don't feel that way about is his ball placement, which I felt was a little erratic last year. And the windows only get tighter, the throws only get tougher, the pockets only get smaller. That part concerns me. Now, I'll just go full disclosure right here because I'm going to keep doing this over and over again every time you guys put someone in the S tier. I don't have anyone in the S tier. And so he would be in the A tier for me. And there's a lot, in my opinion, there's a lot of quarterbacks in this conference in the A tier.
Okay. I can live with that.
Where are you going?
Where you at?
You're the
I think he's
tiebreaker.
S tier.
Okay.
No, I think he's going to be a monster. He's going to be one of the best quarterbacks in this conference this year.
Biased because he covered him in high school. Biased because he went to
I
your school.
literally don't
kidding.
care.
Just kidding.
Hey, shout out Cam Duncan. He goes in the comments, I saw Dampier play. This kid is going to be a problem if Utah uses him right. Couldn't agree more.
100%. All right, we got to take our next break. Shout out to the homies over at FanStake. The portal is it's heating up. There's actually a few notable entries last few days from the lower levels that we'll talk about at some point. But shout out to FanStake. They're basically giving you $25 to help invest into Colorado football.
Yep.
And Colorado football, actually, I think one of their like most popular teams on FanStake
Yes.
overall too. So this has a real impact on the future of this roster, on the current standing of this roster. Actually, you can, nominate Jordan Seaton, Omari Miller, Quentin Gibson, Draylon Miller, Carday Smith, to have them stay on the roster. But with the portal heating up, you can find new guys here in the next few weeks and stake them to try and get them to come be a Buff. As I said, they're currently offering new fans a free $25 credit, no credit card required or strings attached. We're encouraging everyone to stake. Let's go with Seat today. Big Seat.
Big Seat.
Let's get it.
The leader of the team. He's important to keep, so hit up Fanstake, put that $25 on him. Click the link in our description, scan the QR code, or just head to fanstake.com. Use promo code DNVR to help keep Jordan Seaton with the Buffs.
I would love for CU to just dominate fan stake.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's one thing that I really think is in the wheelhouse of our fan base.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Shout out to our friends over at Raising Cane's who have brought back the Underdog Challenge. And there's nothing I can get behind more than an underdog. Literally bet on every underdog in March Madness. And this March with Raising Cane's, when the odds get beaten, the chicken fingers get eaten.
Ooh.
Because every time there is a upset in the bracket, Raising Cane's is giving away free box combos. Every time an underdog wins, free box combos given out by our friends over at Raising Cane's. All you got to do is register for your chance to win one at raisingcanes.com/underdog challenge. No purchase necessary. Must be 18 or older. Ends 4/7/25. The rules on eligibility and how to enter at raisingcanes.com/underdog challenge. Raising Cane's, one love.
One love.
Man, I love Raising Cane's. Y'all don't even know.
I do too.
Yeah, I don't even know.
No, they really don't.
What does that mean?
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Next is Jalen Daniels.
Who? No.
Jalen Daniels.
He's still around.
Still around, brother. This is his 6th year at Kansas. He will surpass 40 games played this year. Last year, completed 57% of his passes, 2,454 passing yards, 14 touchdowns to 12 INTs, but
Came
still
on strong late.
I just expected more out of him running, honestly. 439 rushing yards, only 6 touchdowns.
If you only watched the Buffs game, you would think that he should have been in the Heisman contention.
Almost for Colorado, because that first half he was selling.
Yeah, but then he just made so many plays, and he was so hard to defend in the run game, and I don't know.
I blame Devin Neal more than
That was a Devin Neal game.
That's true. But I don't know. In that game, he looked like the guy that we were talking about at this point last season. You're right, though. He did miss a lot of throws in the first half.
Oh, yeah. That probably should have been a blowout early on. If
sure.
he could be accurate in the red zone.
Yeah.
How low are we going?
I'm not going very low.
Really?
And the reason is because he came on at the end of the season and was coming off of an injury. And that was one thing that I said going into last year is like, everyone just thinks this guy's going to come back from an injury, be the exact same guy he was. He looked a lot better late to me. I'm putting him in the B tier.
I'm going to remind you, I don't know if you know this, but he had off-season surgery.
Oh, that's right.
This
I
offseason
forgot
as well.
about that.
On what?
I think it was a lower, I don't know. It was a lower body injury. I think Leipold said that
Oh, yeah, he was like
might be
questionable
ready for spring, right? So
yeah.
he might not even be a full going spring. So
Okay.
that's something
I
to
would endorse another drop then.
Knee surgery.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Not ideal for a guy who is going to rely on his legs.
LinkedIn.com.
And you mentioned he finished off strong. He played 4 games in November. He had 4 total touchdowns in those games
Wow.
as the starting quarterback of the Kansas Jayhawks.
Didn't it like they
It's not ideal. 3 passing, 1 rushing
Yeah,
in
that's crazy.
in the month of November. You
That's
know?
crazy.
And they went 3-1 in that.
Iowa State, BYU, and Colorado back to back to back
Yeah, 3 top 20 teams at the time.
at the time. Sheesh.
But again, that's more Devin Neal than Jalen Daniels to me. Jaden Daniels is
He's F tier.
he's F tier. He's F tier. If somebody's going in F
He's
tier,
F tier.
I'm probably he's got to be one of them for me. No,
F tier, bro.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
where I'm
maybe
at.
giving him 4 games this year, and then I
Right.
gotta find something else.
like I remember talking before this past season to the guy who covers Kansas, who I used to work with. I'm not going to say his name, but I was just asking him just about the season and the matchup before the season. He was like, I'd be surprised if Jalen Daniels plays the entire year just because he's injured.
Yeah,
he gets injured every year.
But
pretty
you
much.
can't-
I mean, it's
You can't, in my opinion, bring that into the rankings.
He hasn't been close to that 2022 level though, ever since
true.
then.
No.
Since we're so far apart, is there a correction?
Do you want to put him in C then? Where would you put him?
Yeah, where were you trying to put him?
I'd be fine to put him. I was gonna move him to C once I heard about the surgery.
Okay.
Let's put him in D.
There is no D.
There is no D.
Oh, why do you do this,
Because what's the point?
bro?
I feel you. If you not a C, you failing.
Yes.
I feel you. If you're not at least a C, you're failing.
All right, fine. I think it's disrespectful. I think he's gonna have a better year than people expect.
All right.
I'm gonna say he's in my C tier.
Okay, we do have to move quickly here. Noah Fafita. Last year, 60% completion,
This could
18
get
touchdowns to
interesting.
12 interceptions, 2,958 passing yards, only ran for 17 yards, only had 1 touchdown. He's losing his top receiver and a future top 10 pick in Teteroa McMillan.
Yeah,
He does get Dampierre's leading receiver, though, from UNM, Luke Weissong.
I like
Ooh,
him.
That guy was nice.
I like him. I like him.
Oh man, this is tough for me. I liked Fafita a lot 2 years ago.
I think he might be a Jedfish product.
And that's the thing is you took a really good quarterback coach, offensive mind away from him and gave him a guy who should probably be selling cars.
He did throw 100 more passes this year than last year.
Yeah, and it was just the offense was so ass. And I've actually been defending Teteroa McMillan on our Broncos podcast recently because I think he's way better than people are giving him credit for. He was like considered a top prospect, and then all of a sudden, just like
Prospect fatigue.
yeah, everyone just stopped talking about him. I'm like, I would take him in Denver.
Absolutely.
But I have to do the same thing for Fafita. The problem is, I don't know if they're going to fix it. I thought the best thing they had going for them last year was Dino Babers, and then he just got scapegoated for all of their problems. And it's like, look at this guy's career.
Because you can't fire the head coach after only 1 year.
For
though.
sure, but like, go look at Dino Babers,
Sure.
what he does. He creates good offenses.
Yeah, Syracuse was tossing the pill around a ton.
Yes. So I don't know. I don't have a lot of confidence in Arizona, but I would put him in my B tier.
I'd put him B as well.
I got him B as well. I like Fafita, his
Cool.
game. I think he's in for a bounce back year here in 2025.
I do
Yeah,
too.
I'm not ready to give up on him,
No.
but it's clear he's got limitations. So
Yeah.
okay, next guy. I don't think this has got to be an NA quarterback for me. It's Oklahoma State projected starter Haas Hedgney.
Where did
He
come
transferred
he
in
the one-
from
he-
TCU.
So he's not the guy who started against this.
from?
Mm-mm.
Nah, his
Nope.
his name was like Smith. His last name was Smith. He had
Okay.
a funky first name.
Malaluikai
Yeah.
Smith.
Yeah.
So there's Garrett Rangel, Smith, and Zane Flores also in contention to
This
start.
got to be NA. We don't
Yeah,
know
no
nothing
one
about
knows.
these dudes.
Yeah, NA.
Okay.
Josh Hoover at TCU. Kind of came out of nowhere a little
You guys
bit.
are, by the way, I think the comments are on my side when it comes to Dampier.
Yeah. Seems that way.
Sounds good.
Chat wants to see about Dampier. They can see.
Cool. Last year for Josh Hoover, 66.5% completion, damn near 4,000 yards, 3,949 yards, 27-11 touchdown to interception ratio. Also had 4 touchdowns on the ground. Not a runner though, minus 19 yards on the season.
This dude is underrated.
I agree.
I agree. We might agree here.
I've got him in the A tier.
I also have him in
Yep.
A tier.
Absolute slinger.
Slinger, bro.
Watching him play is fun because he just goes out there and just slings it.
That offense is fun.
Yeah.
And we're going to be down there. That's going to be a fun game.
Shador Sanders was the only quarterback in the Big 12 to throw more passes than Josh Hoover this past season. Shador was also the only quarterback in the Big 12 to have a better completion percentage than Josh Hoover this season.
And he had him by 15%.
About 9.
Okay.
About
Wait,
9.
What was Shador at?
74.
Okay.
Hoover was at 66.5, which is really damn good for throwing the ball 470 times.
Yeah. No, that's another one where there's like a game where they were playing someone that we wanted them to win. And I was like,
Yeah.
I love this guy.
Yeah. I think Josh Hoover, I saw somebody recently say that
How
he's
many
like
picks?
11.
Yeah, it's too many, but
This one I feel like is NA as well. It's UCF. ESPN had their projected starter as Taven Jackson. He's from Indiana. I think he played a little bit when Curtis Rourke got hurt this last year, but only threw
think he did,
37 passes. They also have Cam Fancher, Dylan Risk, and then Ja'Cory Brown is the young kid who they had start towards the end of the year after they benched KJ Jefferson. This has to be NA.
It's NA. I mean, but we're going to be doing the same thing with Colorado. I guess we personally have more information on them.
All right, Scotty, it's your time. Avery Johnson.
Avery Johnson.
Do we even need the stats? I think we all kind of know who he is. But
no, let's hear the stats.
All right. He had 58% completion, 2,712 passing yards, 25 touchdowns to 10 interceptions, and as a runner, 605 rushing yards and 7 touchdowns. So that's a total of 32 touchdowns to 10 interceptions. Game
changer on the ground. I mean, there are times where he's the fastest player on the field.
Yeah.
Those passing stats are so bad. I cannot believe how many of these guys are completing in the 50s. I thought quarterbacks stopped doing that in like the 1990s.
It's hard to complete passes, man. A lot has to go right for you to complete a pass.
Shador was
in
not
a live
normal.
game.
Stop
not normal.
Comparing
Fact,
that
literally
that crazy number to everyone else.
I'm not, but at the same time, like it should be easy to complete the ball in college.
I think he's A tier.
He's A for me.
I got him S tier.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
He is one of the few guys in the conference, like Devin Dampier, in my opinion, who can, be an engine behind an offense.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? He could do it with his legs. He can do it with his arm. I mean, he threw, 25 touchdowns. I mean, we watched how well he played against Colorado. Like pretty much mistake-free football aside from the tipped interception that, Colton almost took to the crib. Like that in a hostile environment on the road against a defense that we know was really damn good here in 2024 in Colorado. And Avery Johnson, to me, again, is a guy who's still ascending. Like this past year was his first full year as a starter.
Yeah.
He's a true sophomore this past year. And he showed you everything, in my opinion, that would lead you to believe in him, continue to develop and grow. The completion.
He's played in 21 games, though, in his career.
That's good.
Quite a bit.
For a true sophomore, though. And that, to me, that gives me reason for optimism moving forward. You know what I'm saying? Again,
if he puts it together as a passer, the people are going to be falling all over themselves.
If he gets to 63%, you know what I'm saying, which I think is very doable. He was 58 this year.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to have to throw the ball a little bit more. Obviously, this year losing DJ Giddens, Dylan Edwards is obviously back, but and I know people are going to disagree with me, but we watched him. Avery Johnson. I was kind of high going into that game, and then watching him live in person kind of solidified the thoughts that I had on him. And obviously,
he did nothing the rest of the season.
I mean,
I think Dampier is more explosive. I think they're quite similar, so that's why I'd separate Dampier. But
so I would have Avery Johnson above Dampier, but it's A tier to me. The S tier to me is reserved for players that I am scared of going into the game, and I will say, Avery Johnson, of everyone we've listed so far, is the closest to that. It's mostly because of his running ability, which just hurts him a little bit in my eyes. But
bro literally threw a dot to win the game.
Yes, I never said he can't throw.
That wasn't really in response to what you were saying. I just wanted to remind people because again, people are talking about with his arm, like
yeah.
But bro threw a dot to win the game, and that last.
If Travis Hunter wasn't injured, he just picks that.
The regular season finale against number 18 Iowa State, he threw for 220 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks, and also ran for 64 yards.
Like I said, he
completed 42% of his passes that game, Scott.
He only threw the ball 28 times.
This is the thing. This is the thing, though.
That's an impressive game. That wasn't an efficient game, but that was a productive, impressive game from a quarterback.
He's on the verge. If he puts it all together, he has a chance to be the best quarterback in the conference.
And he had 4 touchdowns in the bowl game. But I hear y'all. He's flawed, and he's still a young player, right? There is no quarterback in this conference that is, void of flaws or things to poke holes at. But in terms of pure talent and what he's put on tape, as a young guy, I think he's one of the best in the conference. We'll see.
He's good.
He's A tier.
That's cool.
Yeah, he is.
Julian Lewis. I think he goes NA, honestly. How can you rank a true freshman?
You can't. I would just put like Colorado's quarterback room in A tier.
I mean, Look, I believe in the talent. I think he's going to be a phenom. It's just we haven't seen him at this level. Like I have nothing to even measure him up against here.
That's fine with me. Here's what I'm going to say. This entire conversation has built my confidence in JuJu Lewis so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
The fact that all of these guys are completing passes under 60% also actually makes me feel better about Kaidon Salter.
Yes.
But makes me feel way better about JuJu.
Yeah.
I am so confident that if JuJu started week 1 and went through the entire season, I'd be willing to guarantee he does not complete less than 60% of his passes.
I agree.
And now I'm learning that if you were to complete 65% of your passes, you have a very good chance at leading the Big 12 in completion percentage.
Yeah.
So you're getting an advantage over every team in the league every time that you complete more than 60% of your passes, except for like 2. My JuJu belief has just been fortified during this conversation.
I mean, this is how I felt when we did this last year with Shador. When we did this last offseason, I was like, Shador is so far and away the best quarterback in this conference that Colorado is absolutely going to be one of the best teams in the Big 12. So I get it. It's just in terms of the exercise we're doing, I literally can't put him anywhere but NA.
Yeah.
I literally can't.
I hear you. It's hard to put a grade on somebody we have not seen play live college football.
Yeah.
And that's why I thought we were just kind of going to lump the Colorado quarterback room together, which I guess we could.
We could, sure.
But I think your point is a very salient one where it comes to, I think from day one, he could be the most accurate passer in the Big 12. Like, this is what he was born to do, sling
I think
the
he
football.
was at like day minus 365. A year ago today, it's the second that Shador
right.
got his degree,
Yeah.
JuJu became the most accurate passer in the Big 12.
No doubt. And again, he's been doing this for a minute. I mean, I think there was only maybe 3 or 4 full-time quarterbacks in the Big 12 to even complete above 60%. I think it was just Levitt, Robertson, Morton, 5 guys, just above 60%. So I don't know what we do with a grade based off that, but
Shador had 5 games or something over 80?
Yeah. Absurd.
It's crazy.
Oh my god.
So then where do we put Kaidon then? If we just do Kaidon now, I'd put him borderline SA tier.
It's a common theme for me in my S tier. Guys who can be the engine behind the offense.
Mm-hmm.
And Kaidon Salter to me fits the bill. I mean, somebody who has over 5,000 career passing yards, over 50 career passing touchdowns, has a 1,000-yard rushing season under his belt. I think I said this to you the other day when you weren't on, but like, if you would have told CU fans in the offseason that we're going to add out of the transfer portal a 1,000-yard rusher, a rusher who has rushed for over 1,000 yards in the season, everybody would be like, oh, I'm all for that. It just happens that it comes in the quarterback form in Kaidon Salter. And again, I was looking at this too. Obviously, a lot is made of his 2023 season, which was special at Liberty, where he was the conference player of the year. And obviously, he had a bit of a down year last year in terms of production. But a lot of it has to do, and people talk about this, but guys just leaving Liberty after that 2023 season. He lost his number 1 receiver, CJ Daniels, who broke out, catching passes from Kaidon Salter 2023, had over 1,000 yards. He goes to LSU last year. They also lose their starting left tackle from 2023. Yep. He transferred to Vanderbilt.
Both of them, right?
Maybe, but I know this guy in particular who went to Vanderbilt was a starter for Vanderbilt, started every game at tackle for them too. So you lose your wide receiver 1, your left tackle, you know what I'm saying? And now you come into Colorado, you get Jordan Seaton at your left tackle. Yeah. You get Miller time and Joseph Williams. Like, Kaidon Salter to me has a 3,000 passing yard, 1,000-yard rushing season again in him. Partly because he's already done it, and partly because he's coming into a situation where he's going to be insulated and supported with the talent that kind of, supports what he's able to do on the football field. So, again, it's a common thing for me in my S tier. Guys who can really dominate a game, in the air, on the ground. So, to me, K-Salt, S tier.
I'm going to agree with you, and it's because, like I said, in my personal rankings, I wouldn't have had anyone up in the S tier, but I'm not going to support either of those guys being up in S tier if Kaidon Salter is not there. So to me, honestly, the Devin Dampier, Kaidon Salter comp is pretty close.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
they were both doing it at undermanned teams. Kaidon
Exactly.
Salter, honestly, probably made the mistake of transferring too late, which is not something that
For
you hear
real.
often
Exactly.
in college these days.
Oh, he could have had a Cam Ward type like of rise if he did this last year.
No doubt.
Yes, and it's
Could still
unfortunate
have.
for him that he tries to like ride it out and stick it out,
I respect it.
and he gets knocked for it. At the same time, it's good news for Colorado because they obviously never would have gotten him last year. This year in 2023, he completed 61%. I mean, we've talked a lot about completion percentage. That makes him an elite completion passer in the
Top
Big
5
12.
in the Big 12.
And if you watch the film, there's a lot of drop passes, and you see
Yes.
a lot of confidence in Kaidon Salter. And when he throws, he'll throw into tight windows and he'll chuck it.
Yeah. This has been an enlightening conversation. And I'll say this. Under no circumstances would I accept a trade for anyone else in this conference's quarterback room for ours.
Oh, yeah.
No chance. So Colorado has by far the best quarterback room in this conference.
And that is a really beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And they got Byron Leftwich coaching them along with Pat
Yep.
Shermer.
Yeah.
Scary.
Okay, we gotta
What
do.
did we decide for JuJu, NA or A?
Just leave it NA.
Garrett Green.
We're just
at,
doing no freshmen.
pretty much. Yeah, I mean, we have guys in NA who have actually taken snaps at college football that we still can't even properly.
Yeah,
rate.
that's fair. That's fair.
Garrett Green not back, is he?
I'm pretty sure he is. I thought he was a young guy.
That's the West Virginia quarterback, isn't he?
Oh, you're right. Nico Marichal. Sorry,
Yeah. For sure.
he's a lefty.
Because I saw Garrett Green, he entered the draft as like a receiver.
Is he really?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Nico Marichal, I think is his name. Lefty, played for West Virginia the last 3 years. I think this is an NA as well. I mean, I don't know. He's thrown 122 career passes, but Garrett Green was obviously started the last 3 years.
NA.
And M.
Brennan Sorsby at Cincinnati.
Oh, firmly in the C tier.
Last year, he had 64% completion,
Wow.
2,813 yards.
He's good, bro.
18 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. You can do far worse than Brendan Sorsby in this conference, I think.
All right. I would allow B tier, but
I had him C.
okay.
I had him C, and I don't think that's disrespectful at all. Like I like his game. And I was
Ran
kinda
for
impressed.
447 yards and had 9 touchdowns,
Yeah.
too.
He can move. He made some plays with his legs against Colorado this past year.
He did.
So I think
That's 27-7 touchdown to interception total.
C is
Bad.
perfect because I don't think he's quite on the level, at least to me, as a Rocco Becker and Noah Fafita in
That's
the
fair.
B tier, but not far off. I think that's important. You just moved up.
That is.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I think what were his stats against Colorado? I think that my feelings towards him are warped because their fans were hyping him up so much before our game.
yeah.
He played well. He threw for 180 yards and 2 touchdowns against Colorado, but he completed 53% of his passes, 16 to 30.
He almost threw 3 picks to Travis.
Yeah, he did.
And he ran for 48 yards on 9 attempts.
Yeah, that would make sense why I left that game being like that. It was an incredibly mid quarterback.
Yeah, wasn't that the game that Preston picked him up too and they had a flag?
Yep.
They called it back. Yeah.
That's also the game where Jimmy had a crazy touchdown
yeah.
and then he put up the deuces and they called it back.
That's the game that you were in the stands.
Yeah.
Ah,
Great
times.
games. Yeah.
Great.
Good times. So much fun. Baron Morton, Texas Tech, last year completed 63% of his passes, 3,335 passing yards, 27 passing touchdowns to 8 interceptions. Not a runner, minus 22 rushing yards, 1 rushing touchdown.
He's back too, huh?
Yeah, for his 5th season.
Yes.
This Morton, right? You're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah. I got him in B tier. Actually, I have him in A tier, in my opinion.
Really?
I have him in A tier.
Scotty.
Redo the stats for me again.
63% completion, 3,335 passing yards, 27 to 8 touchdown to interception ratio.
I'm curious why you
Not
said
a
my name
runner.
like that. What are we poking a hole at in Morton's game?
I can't put him in this tier with Avery Johnson, Josh Hoover, and Sam Levitt. Those guys are just better.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if Sam Levitt is head and shoulders better than Baron Morton. I'm not going to lie.
I mean, they both had like similar situations. He would just turn around, hand it to Taj Brooks. Levitt just did it with Scadaboo.
I will say this. There's a little bit of projecting going on with Sam Levitt of like, he's really young. Like,
Yeah.
he can get better. I don't feel that way about Baron Norton. Like,
It's
we know
literally
who
his
he
fifth
is.
year. Yeah.
I hear you. I was impressed with him last year. And again, I don't think he had a ton of help in terms of the perimeter. You know what I'm saying? In terms of weapons, like, throwing for over 3,300 yards, the touchdown interception ratio was really good too, 27-8. And he has one of the better completion percentage in the conference, which I know y'all love a lot.
He had Jalen Conyers. He had Josh Kelly, who had over 1,000 yards. He had a good group.
Yeah. He had that 5-star that they never used.
Yeah, Micah Hudson.
I mean, Josh Kelly, I don't think is going to get drafted, and Conyers probably will. He'll be a good pro, but I mean, that's your tight
He
end.
still had 89,023 yards and 5 touchdowns.
To me, he's the top of the B tier. I think you made a valiant case for your.
I was gonna say,
I respect it.
I'm not going to go to war for Morton. If y'all want to put him B, that's cool.
Yeah.
I respect
I'm not
it.
tripping.
B for Baron.
Jake Retzloff.
Sheesh. Forgot about Jake Retzloff.
Last year,
Why do none of these guys graduate?
this is college football now, bro.
Good job.
57.9% completion, 2,947 passing yards, 20 touchdowns to 12 interceptions.
Wow.
On the ground, ran for 417 yards, 4.2 yards per carry, only 6 rushing touchdowns. That's a total of 26 touchdowns to 12 interceptions.
The stats really don't back up what I felt when I was watching him play, which is that he was a dog.
Yeah, he's
I didn't
got
get that vibe from him.
Really?
No, I got the team feeds.
I was going to say, he was
Yeah.
like the leader of a team that should have been in the playoffs.
100%. The team feeds off of him.
I mean,
Talent-wise, I totally get it.
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, sure.
And I wasn't going to really disagree. I bet a team like BYU feeds off of their starting quarterback. That's not really surprising to me. But a lot of times I would watch BYU games and their games wouldn't start, at least offensively, a lot of times until the fourth quarter. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And again, you look at the numbers, it's all right. 12 interceptions is quite literally the most in the Big 12 last year, at least tied for it. Only 20 passing touchdowns. And again, y'all love completion percentage, 58% isn't ideal. You know what I'm saying?
No, like I said, the stats are not pretty.
He's in the same tier as Sorsby to me, C tier.
I would
Pure
put him-
talent and like stats perspective, that's where he is.
I'd put him in the B tier.
I had him B.
Okay.
Just to me, there's something to like leadership. and
Yeah,
all
he's
that.
got some
Sure.
moxie
Yeah.
and some late game heroics to him, which
Yeah.
I respect, so.
We're
Yeah.
headed to overtime. Head on over to thednvr.com. We're going to wrap up the show over there. We got 2 more quarterbacks, and we're going to get to the chat. Sawyer Robertson completed 62% of his passes, had 3,071 passing yards, 28 touchdowns to 8 interceptions. Also ran for 230 yards, 3.7 yards per carry, and 4 additional touchdowns.
And wasn't the starter until week 4.
Was not the opening day starter, I don't
I think it was the week before the Colorado game is when he got his first start.
Remember, we were going into that game not knowing who they were going to play
Right.
Was that? I always forget. Did the Baylor game come before or after UCF?
before,
Okay,
I believe. I think it was the 4th game of the year.
so he didn't start the first 3 weeks, or he started the 3rd week.
Or came in the 3rd week, something like that.
I think he's in my A tier.
I agree.
In my A tier.
Yeah. During our game against him, I was just like, "Who is this?"
Yeah.
And then
He was dotting him up.
I
bro.
just like kept looking at game, like box scores after games that they won or were close in, and it was another good performance from him. Then you turn on a game and watch, and it was another good performance from him.
Was the Baylor game that where he had the throw where the receiver like dove
Yes.
out and caught it in the end?
Yes.
Yeah, dime.
That guy ran like 4.29 at his pro day, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Baylor's good.
In the month of October and November, which is 3, 4, 5, 7 games, 8, 11. He threw 17 touchdowns with just 4 picks over a 2-month span. That's pretty damn impressive. And over that span, they were 6-0. In the heart of their schedule.
And he was what, a redshirt freshman?
Junior,
no,
listed
he's an
as
older
junior
guy.
this year.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
an older guy.
Was it his first year at Baylor, maybe?
I think he's actually been there.
Okay.
Yeah, because remember they
minutes.
brought in DeQuan Finn
Yeah, 2022 he started his career at Mississippi State though.
Okay.
They brought in kind of like a dual threat out of the portal, and he was their week 1 starter, and it didn't go well.
Well, it kind of changes my feelings about him. I thought he was like a young gun.
No.
He's older.
Yeah, it was still really impressive what he did on the field.
He's A tier.
I like Robinson. I like his game a lot. I'll put him in A tier.
Last guy is Houston's projected starter, Connor Wegman. Played at A&M the last few years. How do you spell this guy's name?
WIEG
Mm-hmm.
Spelled Connor wrong, I think.
or WEIG.
It's E-I, not I-E.
Hold on.
WEIG.
You guys.
Stop putting I-E, E-I. There you go.
It's my fault.
I did spell Connor wrong. Last year.
2 N's, 1 N, ER.
ER. Oh, it's
Oh,
an ER? Oh,
yeah.
wow.
56% completion. Only played 6 games. 56% completion, 3 touchdowns to 5 interceptions, 819 passing yards. Ran for 101 yards, no touchdowns. But
Houston might be cooked, bro.
Houston had a player like that as their starting quarterback last year. They were just running around with, what's his name? Smith, right?
I liked him. I feel like he had a future. I
Yeah,
think
he
he
had
was
a
young
cool
too, unless he
name,
wasn't young.
No, he's an
It was
older
like
guy.
Zeno, right? Or something like that.
Oh, you're right. No. Who was it? Because Donovan Smith started the year.
Right.
Yeah, then they brought in some.
Zion Chris is his
Zion,
name.
Yeah.
What year was he?
He was a junior. I don't know where he is now, though.
Oh, he's not with them any longer.
Well,
Wegman was a really highly touted
he is there.
quarterback
He is there. So it's between Chris and Wegman.
at A&M. And obviously, I think it went south, obviously, late in the season. I think he started the year as a starter. And then because they ended up going to the young guy, Marcel Reed, I believe, who was electric down the stretch.
Yeah, he was.
But I think Wegman has talent. Like, he can play.
Clearly.
But who do we have on C tier there by himself?
That is Sorsby.
Yeah, I think that's probably where he goes, right next to Sorsby in C tier.
Is there someone in F tier?
Jalen Daniels.
Bro, this guy has to go in F tier. Jalen Daniels is down there.
I'm
You
not
gotta
opposed to either. I really don't care.
I'm not gonna put him in a big fight either way. If you want to put him in F tier, okay. But
F tier?
I wouldn't have Daniels in F tier.
somebody gotta go in F tier. I ain't gonna lie.
This guy's going there.
I'm putting them both there.
Oh man,
This is what it looks like to me. I don't know what it looks like to everyone else here, but
I think that's valid.
Devin Dampierre, Kaidon Salter in the S tier, Sam Levitt, Josh Hoover, Avery Johnson, Sawyer Robertson in the A tier. Who is the
It's Rocco.
Rocco Becht, Noah Fafita, Baron Morton, Jake Retzloff in the B tier, Brennan Sorsby in the C tier, Jalen Daniels, Connor Wegman in the F tier, and the Oklahoma State, UCF, West Virginia / Julian Lewis category of not ranked.
Which is because we just don't have the information.
We just lack of context, lack of data points.
I think it's a good list. I think I would just move the 2 in S down to A, and it's probably because I've been watching Shador Sanders, and the year before that I was watching Caleb Williams and Michael Penix and Bo Nix all in the conference. I'm like, the S tier to me means something different.
Yeah.
But I like what we did. I think the list turned out pretty well.
It's a competitive conference. Very competitive. Someone will emerge and be the best of the best, but this is a good group of quarterbacks, honestly.
It is, and like you said earlier, it solidifies to me how well Coach Prime and this recruiting staff have done of recruiting that position, both of the high school ranks and the transfer portal. Like this is a luxury that Buffs fans have, that they don't have to really worry about their quarterback situation aside from who's going to start. You know what I'm saying? I just think of Oklahoma State situation, UCF situation.
Yes, dude.
I mean, that's brutal.
Yeah.
And Colorado does not have those problems. Whoever ends up being under center. And that's my thing too. It's like, if we had to put Julian in a tier, I would have had him in S tier only because I had Kaidon obviously in S tier for all the reasons that I mentioned. If Julian Lewis beats out Kaidon Salter,
100%.
he's an S tier quarterback.
100%.
And that's on the table. So it's a good spot to be in.
There's a very real chance that Colorado has a choice between the first and the second best quarterback in the Big 12.
Legitimately. And honestly, I don't think Staub is like an F or C tier type quarterback. What we saw against Utah.
We've seen him once, and he looks pretty solid for a true freshman. No, yeah, true freshman at the time. Wow.
And if you've been watching well off, he's got some more confidence than he had in previous years. He's really slinging it downfield.
By the way, for the chat, a bunch of people came in late. They're complaining about Dampier. I would just like to say that I tried. I didn't think Dampier was S tier either.
Bro, we standing on business, bro. I'm glad. Yeah. I mean, I was gonna stand in it by myself, but I'm glad you.
No, I thought it was Tiersday. You guys thought it was Dampier's day.
Oh my god.
Jesus Christ. Y'all gonna see, man.
For real.
Y'all gonna see.
See, I think it's the furthest part we've ever been on anything on this podcast is our feelings about what Utah is going to be.
I think Utah's going to be a 9-10 win team again, bro. I think they're going to be right at the top of the conference.
So do I.
Yeah, I think they're a 6-win team. Wow. What's the line?
That's going to be beautiful.
We'll do those at some point too. Maybe later this week.
Can I just get this one before the show ends?
Sure, go ahead.
We're going to be paying attention to Utah. I'm going to be paying attention to Houston because apparently Dion, I think they're going to be cold. I can't wait to get the dividends on that.
NCAA
it's going to be interesting, man.
Oh, go get those.
All right, quick super chats from Day Trip and both of these. Thank you for the support. It says, who's your sleeper receiver? I got white boy Taggart Barden. Let my guy shine. That's my guy too, bro. If I had to pick a sleeper, freshman count? Sure.
All right, what's your guess on Utah 7.5 over on?
That's what I was going to say.
You guys both nailed it.
That's what I was going to say.
We can do that later.
I think it's fair too.
Yeah, I think it's fair too.
We can do that later this week. Bet365, I think, has the whole conference.
I think I would go 6.5 if I was setting the lines.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
The juice is on the over, so it means they're leaning a little bit towards under.
Okay. I might end up taking that then. My sleeper wide receiver, I picked Quanell out of everyone, but
Nate Freeman goes, who the hell is Dampier? He put hell in all caps. You go find out, my boy. But I feel like that's how a lot of people are, right?
Yeah,
they're like,
sure.
I wouldn't watch New Mexico football. I don't know who the hell this kid is. And then they look at the numbers, 12 passing touchdowns, 12 interceptions. Why would I be excited about this kid? And I get that. But
just watch the games.
Right.
Any relation to Eric Dampier?
I don't know.
Okay.
Do you have an underdog receiver for this season? I'll throw Caleb Mathis in there too.
I like that one.
Who's your sleeper?
Caleb Mathis.
I'm going to go with Adrian Wilson because people are not talking about him for some reason.
I love that. I love that.
Dude was explosive, right?
He was.
You talked to the guy who called these games this past year.
Facts.
Bro can take a slant to the curb with ease. He can run every route in the route tree.
Okay, this is going to be the last. We're going to end right here. Mars said, bro, if Dampier's an S, that means he's on the same level as Shedeur. No, it doesn't.
No.
And that was actually a conversation that we had before this. And kind of a place that we should have clarified. It's all just based within the Big 12.
Yes.
At least that's the way that you guys wanted to do it.
All relative.
All relative to the Big 12 this year. So it has nothing to do with any other conference, any other quarterback, any other year. This year's Big 12 quarterbacks. I still wouldn't have Dampier S, but it makes it certainly look less than as bad as he was making it seem.
I mean, to be honest with you, I don't envision this happening. But there's probably a world where Dampier might not even win the quarterback competition, right? Because Isaac Wilson is still there.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Isaac Wilson,
my favorite.
Could win. Your boy Isaac could beat him out. And at that point, I'd definitely be wrong, and I'd have to own that. But like I said, I don't envision that happening.
Last super chat also from Day Trip. It says, I will rip on the Avery Johnson is the most overrated quarterback in college. He's a running back at quarterback. Arm is subpar in Big 12, let alone college football.
If it wasn't for the game against us, I would be with you on that train, but I had to fall back on that one.
You saw it in person.
I mean, like his most legendary game happened against us.
Yeah,
sure.
Probably.
Got hurt in that game too. That was fun.
That was really fun.
That was fun.
I'm sure everyone loves our list.
I'm sure they all enjoyed it.
Shout out to the chat
at every step of the way.
I can't wait to see how many more people agree on social media later today too.
Oh God, please don't.
All right, we'll see y'all tomorrow. Go Buffs.
Go Buffs.
We all silly like the mayor.